Hey guys, Hawk here, and I know what you're thinking. Hawkeye, why didn't you make a build log? Why is it already finished? Where's the build log? Well, that's what happens when you completely forget that you're making a build log to begin with, and then you realize it's done, and someone asks you, hey, where's the build log? And then you remember, oh crap, I don't have a build log. So I apologize, I do not have the rest of this video, because it doesn't exist. I finished it, I just took 2 days, and I said, I need to barrel through this. And I got on my sander and I got on my bandsaw and I just finished it as quickly as I could. Couple notes, this is a carbon fiber barrel. This is 16 inches long. I'm not going to give any specifics on the reasons why I do things or tiny little specific details of everything, because I know the homemade community and I know they're going to ask. I know they're going to ask for specific model numbers and specific parts I got from specific places, and why I'm getting these numbers, and why it sucks so much, and why I didn't use countersunk screws, and why. The short answer is because I felt like it, and because I could, and because I don't have to justify myself to an entire community. This is my pistol, I'm not planning on selling it, it's comfortable and nice for me, and that's really all that matters. Disclaimer out of the way. So, this isn't my best performing barrel, but it's already pretty freaking long and I didn't need it any longer than that. It's still shooting at about 200 feet per second on any real dart that I'm using. It's not as consistent as some of my other ones, but that's because this breech right here is not exactly a perfect seal. I put my thumb on here, the seal's actually pretty terrible. As you can see, that's pretty awful, but it is a near perfect seal if I cover it with my thumb, and I'll demonstrate that now. Uh-oh. Well, I just pulled the barrel out, and that's still in there, so that is not good. I think I'm just going to leave that in there for now. Oh, that's not freaking good, but I can still demonstrate that it has, if I can get my... I'd say that's pretty perfect of a seal, if I do say so myself. So, that's not really that great. I will figure out that later, and hopefully I can get that piece out, but for now, I think this is permanent. But I have other barrels that apparently I'm never going to be able to put on there again. I'll figure that out later. I can just grab it with pliers or something, should be able to pull out, but that is a breech. And it's the most convenient one, so I guess I'm not too upset. You put a dart in there, cock it back, and I'm actually having some trouble with my left elbow right now, like physically, so I have to kind of cock it in a weird way, which is why I'm going off camera. But the draw is a normal K26. The last little bit is pretty hefty because that is a full compression on that spring. I literally couldn't get any more fractions of a millimeter out of it. Is the absolute max. And of course, I have absolutely nothing to shoot without destroying something. There's foam up there. And I don't know if you see that, but that is stuck in the foam. I did not intend for that to happen, and these are actually the very, very soft heads that you just get from China. I got these from China. I have no idea what they are, but they're the red ones. Super soft tips, not the hard tips. So that's interesting that that's stuck in there. Again, I'm getting about 200 FPS with this particular barrel. I have another barrel that's made out of polycarbonate that's 12.5 inches long, and that's way more consistent at a solid 185. That very rarely differs from 185. So I like it. It is a 7-inch spring. That is a K26. It's been cut down. It has a about 1/8 of an inch of pre-compression. Didn't really want all that much pre-compression or anything like that. The head of this is a custom milled head that I had designed for this specific project. And those are blue O-rings. I'm not going to, again, release any specifics, but they're made out of silicone. I'm also using a silicone lubricant. And the catch is a 3/8. Let me double check that. The catch is made out of 3/8 polycarbonate. That's all 3 ply is 3/8, and then all of the hardware is blue anodized aluminum screws. And before anyone asks, yes, they are tough enough. No, they're not going to break. Yes, I'm aware that they're made out of aluminum. Yes, I have my reasons. No, I'm not going to justify them. So the pull back here is a pretty simple one. It's relatively long, but that's so I can take off this front bit and then pop it out relatively easy without removing anything. And I can clean whatever I need to clean and then pull it back in there. It just makes things a lot simpler. I might improve this in the future. It's not exactly the most fancy thing on this, and it's the only thing I'm really okay about on this entire thing. But for now, it's perfectly fine, and it's easily replaced with that screw. So that should be fine. The handle is pretty much the star of this as I hit my screen with the barrel. And that is a solid piece of 1-inch thick aluminum, as well as the trigger and this little bit up here. And the answer on how I did that is literally just a belt sander, hand files, hand sanding, and then polishing. And that is how that has come out. My frame rate was kind of going wonky there for a second, but that's that. And then I have my custom sticker there, and that is number 13. So all in all, it's a pretty nice pistol. Didn't have any measurements online for what a standard size pistol is, so I think this is a little bit big, but I honestly have no idea because that information is nowhere to be found. Don't bother linking to it because it's too late. I don't really care, and anyone who tells me... This is a touchy one for me because it's my first homemade. Yes, this is my first homemade, first of all, but I know that I'm going to be attracting a different group of people with this blaster, and if I'm starting to get Nerf Haven comments, then I will remove them. Now, for the majority of you, you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, but for those of you who do not test me. Not only will I remove them, I will block you. I kid you not. I posted this online, and the first wave of people was totally positive, and then the second wave of people was completely negative in how I've done everything wrong, and quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Other YouTubers who will completely ignore it and be completely okay and just show you my smiles because I am honestly sick of it. So this is a nice warning, the nicest way I know how. Please do not leave Nerf Haven type comments. If you have constructive criticism, that's fine. If you're just looking to say that my build sucks because I'm not doing things right, and why didn't you use Delrin for the plunger rod, and why didn't you use something lighter for the plunger head, and why didn't you use a skirt seal, and why is this, and why is that, and blah blah blah, and what kind of performance are you getting on this, and blah blah blah, just to pick it apart, I will not answer, and I will delete them. And if it's bad enough, I will block you. In my personal opinion, this is the reason why you don't see any other shaped handles on homemades. It's just usually a stick, literally just a stick, and that's it for the handle. My personal belief is because people are so critical of anything different in the homemade community that they will reject you and they will belittle you for doing anything different. I apologize if this offends anyone. I apologize if this rant has gone on too long, but I feel like that is something that's needed to be said. I am perfectly aware that there is a slight bend down in the barrel. Now, as much as I'd like to say that is intentional, it is completely not intentional. I did actually drill that crooked, and I was super upset until I realized that this thing is so heavy and it has such recoil that it actually shoots high anyway. Even with the slight bend down in the barrel, it shoots rather high. So I actually have to aim like this instead of like this. So I'm not too terribly upset about the barrel anymore. It doesn't bother me at all. So I like it. It's my blaster. I shall cherish it until it breaks. The only thing that's ever going to break on this is the plunger tube itself. I can totally see that snapping, and it's has some hairline fractures. They're not growing. They're not doing anything, but If it breaks, it will be simple to replace. And if I really wanted to, I guess I could put a aluminum tube on there if I really wanted to, and then say it's a full metal rainbow pistol. And that's actually the only thing on here that's not metal besides the catch, which metal on metal catch, that's not a great idea. I know that from experience, trust me. So, oh, there is a buffer connected to the coupler up there. And that buffer, excuse me, is actually the bottom half of one of those koozie things for a soda can. You know, the big puffy ones. The bottom has a hole in it, and I actually just cut that out. So it's a donut shape, and I put it up there. And that is the perfect pad for this plunger head. So, if you have any questions, I'm going to tell you to withhold them, because I don't really feel like answering a whole bunch of questions on this. This is my homemade. That's it. If you have any legitimate questions, don't be afraid to ask them. Just don't be a douchebag. If you have 1,300 questions about different things and why I do things the way I do them, do not ask me those questions. Again, this might seem a little bit harsh. It might sound like I'm being a little bit nasty, but I assure you I'm not. I'm just trying to avoid that whole scenario altogether, so it's not happening in the comments, because it seems like a really big flame war starter, these homemades. So if you have any questions, be reserved about it. Thanks for watching.